Okay, so to all the boys out there is one golden rule that you need to follow, and that the boys have to stay the boys. Not the boys and a girlfriend, not the boys and a chick that apparently is a part of the boys all of a sudden. The boys are the boys. And today's story is about how my girlfriend ended up joining the boys and things got really, well, weird. But obviously, before we get into this story, make sure you guys press that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Seriously, it means a lot when you guys do. And let's just jump straight into this crazy story. Yo, what is going on, you guys? My name's Bubba, and welcome back to a really embarrassing story. So today's story all starts off back when I was in grade 9. So if you guys don't know, back when I was in grade 9, I was into BMXing. If you guys don't know what BMXing is, basically it's when you ride this bike that isn't a mountain bike. It's more of a street bike that you can ride around the city, do cool tricks. Honestly, back when I was a kid, I used to be a big fan of this YouTuber named John Hicks, and he basically did all those crazy things. And I remember me being such a big fan of this, I got myself into BMXing, and I started, riding my green bicycle around that I got. And honestly, I loved it to the point where I actually ended up posting YouTube videos about it. If you guys do want me to show you guys one of those videos, make sure you guys drop that like button and maybe I'll show you more of it. But anyways, going on though, I remember one time I went to the skate park, and when I got there, I had my GoPro on. I was gonna film a YouTube video about me trying to learn how to do a 180. And as I was preparing myself to do that, there was a girl at the skate park who had a skateboard. Now this girl, she looked like a total tomboy, and I remember she walked up to me and said, "Oh, you have a lot of camera equipment. Are you some kind of YouTuber?" I ended up looking at her saying, "Nah, but it's my dream to become a YouTuber." And I ended up telling her about all my hopes and dreams and all this stuff. And me and her, we actually ended up getting along. To the point where I remember me and her, we exchanged numbers. And well, I'm not gonna lie to you, as time went on, I kept going to the same skate park and seeing her, and I guess, I don't know, me and her started dating. It was really out of nowhere, but to be fair, high school relationships usually never make sense anyway. So I remember from there, what ended up happening was one time when I was at school hanging out with the boys, I ended up basically getting a message from this girl. She ended up texting me how basically she was heading over to my school with her skateboard so that we could go to the skate park after. I ended up texting her back saying that I wasn't able to make it and how I had to, hang out with the boys for a bit because the boys wanted to go do something. She ended up telling me, "Oh, Bubba, I can just come meet the boys. You want to meet the guys? Yeah, why not? I think it'll be cool. I don't know. We're kind of a weird group. No, trust me, Bubba, I'll be fine." I remember from there, me and her, we actually ended up meeting up in front of the school, and all the guys were behind me looking at me as if I was some kind of weirdo bringing a girl to somewhere where the guys are gonna be. But obviously she ended up introducing herself, and all of us ended up actually getting along with her. It was kind of crazy because even though all of us at first found it weird, we ended up actually liking her, and things got pretty good. But then things ended up getting too good, because I remember what ends up happening next made everything just so much more awkward. I remember that day when all the guys were hanging out with my girlfriend, one of the guys ended up bringing up Xbox. And if you guys don't know, me and the boys, we would always play Call of Duty Black Ops 2, being super racist and being absolutely just, if you guys don't know anything about 2014 humor, that was way back then. But going on, when my homie ended up bringing up Xbox, she ended up saying, "Oh, I also play Xbox." "Wait, you do? What do you play?" "Oh, just Call of Duty, nothing insane." "What? Us too? Yo, we should play tonight." I remember from there, all the guys ended up leaving, and me and her, we ended up basically riding back to my place, and we ended up going back to my place, and we started basically doing the Devil's Tango. What, you think I wasn't gonna pull the Devil's Tango? Come on, this is the Bubba channel. Obviously I would. And I remember afterwards, me and her, we ended up going our separate ways, and she ended up heading home and hopping on her Xbox. When we all hopped on Xbox, I remember we got into a party and we started playing games together and stuff like that, and things actually went really well. But one thing that we all started noticing though was that apparently one of my friends ended up being a real simp. I am not joking, my homie would always basically try to defend this girl in any argument that happened between the guys. Even if we were just making fun of each other for fun, he would always, and I mean always, just defend her. All my friends found this weird and ended up calling him a eggplant sucker, but honestly, let's be real here, there was no eggplant to suck other than her sucking mine. Sorry, that's inappropriate, but going on. I remember as weeks went on, me and her, we ended up getting really close, but at the same time, one thing I started realizing was that she was mostly hanging out with the boys instead of hanging out with me. And it got to the point where actually, funny enough, she would hang out with the boys behind my back without me being there. At this point, I won't lie to you, I didn't know if she was in a relationship for me or the friends I had. And now honestly, things at this point got really weird, because from there, I remember I decided one day to walk up to her and confront her. Obviously, before I did confront her though, me and her, we did do the Devil's Tango, just so I can loosen her up a bit, which sounds really weird, but at the same time, hey, welcome to the channel once again. Subscribe if you want more weird stuff like this. And basically, I remember I ended up laying down beside her, and I looked at her saying, "Hey, I'm not gonna lie to you, don't you think it's a little weird how you're hanging out with the guys without me and stuff? Maybe we should hang out, me and you, and just kind of cut them off, if that's cool." "Bubba, are you telling me that you want to leave leave your friends. Not leave them, but I'm saying like, you know, spend more time with just me and you. But I don't know what your problem is, but like the guys are like awesome. Like we're all just the boys. Babe, I get that, but at this point, like I'm not gonna lie to you, they seem to be more simping for you than being one of the boys. Like none of the boys have been the same since you came around. I remember when I told her that, she got very upset and she told me, Baba, are you kidding me? They probably just like me more. That's why. Like you're always like such a downer. At this point, me and her, we got into a very heated argument, and me and her, we actually ended up breaking up right then and there. Obviously the next day at school, I didn't hang out with the boys at all. To be honest, I ended up leaving the boys and not hanging out with them for like a good 3 to 4 months. But I remember as the months went on, one by one, each one of the boys ended up hitting me up and saying how they wanted to hang out with me again and not be around this weird girl. And over time, I remember I ended up asking all of them, hey, like what happened? Like what's wrong with the girl? And they all ended up saying the same thing, how they all dated her, did the devil's tango, and basically got into a heated argument. It was like a full circle, a full cycle. And the one thing we all had in common was hating this girl. Honestly, it was one way to reunite the boys, but she didn't have to do that. That's kind of weird being a homie hopper. Anyways, guys, that is basically it for today's embarrassing story. Make sure you guys press that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And like I always say, follow for more embarrassing stories just like this one. Peace out, guys.